Hi everybody, welcome back to the Dr. Sia channel. In this video today, we're going to talk about that third concept that I really hate, that really toxic idea that self-worth is somehow something that we can achieve by doing things, that there are things that we can do. Now, we had one video on that already around doing things. So then today, the other doing that we're going to talk about is whether we can be thinking in a particular way, like if there are things that we can remind ourselves of to show how much worth we have. Let's get started. All right, so are there things that we can remind ourselves of to show ourselves how much of a worth we have? Well, to answer this question, first I want to say, I remember a long time ago when I was a graduate student and one of my teachers was showing me a patient who came in with this idea, with this belief that they have low self-worth, and they were telling me how they really made that patient improve in health and it really made them feel better by helping them understand that, reflect on all of the things that shows that person that they actually do have worth. So the patient had sat down and written down things like, oh yeah, I'm a good father and that makes me have worth, and I'm a good brother and that makes me have worth, and I have a good job, I'm doing well at my job and that makes me have worth. And the psychologist was like, yeah, great. All of these things will really change your beliefs about your worth. And I remember having this really yucky feeling within me because I've sort of worked a lot with refugees throughout my life, even before I became a psychologist. And I thought to myself, well, what if that person loses those things? What if they lose their family and their job, which a lot of refugees do? Does that mean that they also lose their worth? Is that how fickle and fragile human self-worth is? And it stayed in a yucky way with me until I discovered intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy and really psychodynamic theory, where in psychodynamic theory, we sort of talk about, well, any effort, any attempt to remind ourselves of the things we have in life and the things we are in life and how that increases our self-worth is actually just increasing in a very toxic way our conditional self-worth. Which means that if I say to myself, oh yeah, well, I'm really good looking and therefore I have worth. I'm really strong and therefore I have worth. Well, then we think about that. Well, that means that with age, as I become less good looking, maybe some people become more good looking with age, but anyway, with age, as I will become less good looking and I'll become weaker in strength, does that mean that my worth decreases? Does that mean that then older people are less worthy than younger people? Or certainly society almost treats it exactly like that, like our human worth has anything to do with our capacity or capability. But is that what we want to teach as psychologists? That people have more worth or less worth depending on things like whether they're a better father than somebody else or a greater brother? When we try to remind ourselves that there are things about us that shows that we have worth, we're just looking at the things that society tells us that we should have. Now, in ISTDP therapy, we would never do that. What we would be doing instead is we would be helping the person understand that the reason why they have conditional notions of self-worth to begin with is so that they never really have a sense of untouchable, unconditional self-worth. That they had and have unconditional self-worth, but because of their avoidant, ambivalent, disorganized attachment and abuse and trauma and whatever they've experienced, that self-worth was somehow compromised, conditional now based on their ability to either avoid their feelings, take care of other people, or indeed keep themselves abused in one way or another. So what we do in ISTDP is to help the person realize that the worth was there to begin with, but that toxic things like, for example, this idea that they need to be a good brother or a good husband or a good wife or a good sister or a good worker or whatever, were put upon this idea of self-worth. So what we need to do is to remove those things, remove those toxic ideas, and the natural self-worth that we all have will just reappear. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you comment. I hope you subscribe. I hope you tell your friends about what we're trying to do here. Please press that bell button. Please actually do it. It would be very helpful. And also, please check me out on Insta on @DrSia, where I'm talking a lot about self-worth at the moment, if that's a topic you like, but I'm also talking a lot about attachment, about ISTDP, etc., etc. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.